There's a difference between being alone and being lonely. Loneliness is a longing for someone to fill your silence. Being alone is finding peace in that silence. Most of us fear solitude because we've been taught that company equals happiness. But solitude isn't absence, it's presence. It's the moment you return home to yourself. When you sit with no distractions, you begin to hear your own truth. Your heartbeat becomes a rhythm of stillness. You realize that silence has a sound, and it's comforting. You no longer crave noise, you crave peace. The beauty of being alone is that it teaches you to listen, not to the world, but to your soul. And when you do, loneliness fades into serenity. It's not about isolation, it's about inner discovery. It's where healing begins, quietly, gently, and naturally. Because solitude isn't emptiness, it's sacred fullness. We live in an age of noise, endless scrolling, constant chatter. Our minds crave silence, but we rarely allow it. When we step away from the noise, we rediscover peace. You don't need validation to feel valuable. You don't need constant messages to feel seen. Sometimes, being unreachable is how you recharge. It's okay to turn your phone off and your soul on. Solitude helps you unlearn the chaos. It softens the edges of a tired heart. When the world grows loud, your spirit whispers, "Come back home." And when you listen, everything real remains. Peace doesn't need an audience, it only needs awareness. Every quiet moment is a gift your soul has been waiting for. When you protect your peace, you protect your purpose. Alone is where you find both. When you spend time alone, you reconnect with who you truly are. You remember what you love without influence. You rediscover your natural rhythm. You learn what feels good without anyone's opinion. Alone time isn't withdrawal, it's reconnection. You can't pour from a cup that's always being shared. Refill it with solitude, with stillness, with self-awareness. The world might call you distant, but you'll call it balance. Being alone helps you recognize what truly nourishes your soul. It helps you notice the beauty you've been too distracted to see. And that's when you begin to love your own company. Not because you have no one else, but because you finally have yourself. You stop searching outward and start glowing inward. You fall in love with the silence. Because it finally feels like home. There once was a lighthouse keeper who lived alone by the sea. Every evening, he climbed the spiral stairs and lit the lamp. He watched the horizon, waiting for ships that rarely came. People pitied his solitude, they thought he must be lonely. But the keeper smiled each night as the sea sang to him. He said, "Loneliness is when the light inside you fades. But my light keeps me company." Years passed, and travelers said they could always see his lamp glowing, even during storms. He became the symbol of calm, not because he had company, but because he became his own light. Being alone never dimmed him, it defined him. And so he kept shining, even when no one was watching. That's the power of being alone, to glow without needing applause. Stillness is underrated in a world obsessed with movement. But true transformation often happens in silence. In the still moments, we meet our truest selves. Alone, you begin to breathe differently. You notice small details, the sound of wind, the rhythm of your breath. Peace doesn't announce itself, it arrives quietly. You don't chase it, you allow it. The beauty of solitude is that it asks nothing of you. You don't have to perform or explain. You just have to be. And in that being, you remember how whole you already are. Stillness becomes your sanctuary, and you realize you don't need noise to feel alive. You just need presence. That's the gift of solitude. The more time you spend with yourself, the more you learn to trust your own energy. You stop chasing what drains you. You start cherishing what heals you. Being alone becomes a blessing disguised as silence. You learn to hold yourself through heavy days. You find comfort in your own rhythm. You stop needing noise to feel alive. And you realize, solitude is a mirror. It shows you what you've been avoiding. It teaches you patience, clarity, and strength. Not everyone will understand your peace, and that's okay. Your journey is not about explaining, it's about experiencing. When you find beauty in your own presence, you carry peace wherever you go. Because home isn't a place. It's your energy. It takes courage to face silence. It takes strength to sit with your thoughts. But that's where healing begins. Alone time helps you process what you've buried. It turns pain into peace, and silence into understanding. Most people run from their inner voice. But the brave ones listen. You begin to realize, solitude doesn't isolate, it integrates. It brings you back to your center. You learn to walk gently with your emotions. You forgive more, and you demand less. Because you finally understand yourself. And when you understand yourself, you no longer fear being alone. You embrace it, fully, beautifully, completely. A woman once moved into a new house. One room was empty, no furniture, no sound. At first, she avoided it, feeling the echo of loneliness. But one day, she sat inside it with nothing but silence. She began to notice her heartbeat. Her breath became music. She realized the emptiness was not a void, it was freedom. That room became her sanctuary. She filled it not with things, but with peace. She learned that being alone was not about missing someone. It was about meeting herself again. And from then on, she called it her sacred space. Because emptiness, she learned, can be full of light. There's a certain glow that comes from those who love solitude. It's calm, steady, and magnetic. You can feel their peace without them saying a word. That's the glow of alignment. It comes when you no longer fear being alone. Because you've met your own soul and found it beautiful. You don't crave constant validation anymore. You're not lonely, you're whole. And in that wholeness, you attract energy that matches peace. You start to live slower, deeper, softer. You realize the beauty of being alone is not emptiness, it's clarity. Your energy becomes your language. Your peace becomes your power. And your silence becomes your strength. That's the true beauty of solitude. There's a certain glow that comes from those who love solitude. It's calm, steady, and magnetic. You can feel their peace without them saying a word. That's the glow of alignment. It comes when you no longer fear being alone. Because you've met your own soul and found it beautiful. You don't crave constant validation anymore. You're not lonely, you're whole. And in that wholeness, you attract energy that matches peace. You start to live slower, deeper, softer. You realize the beauty of being alone is not emptiness, it's clarity. Your energy becomes your language. Your peace becomes your power. And your silence becomes your strength. That's the true beauty of solitude.